Hello everybody, I hope you're all doing well. My name is Steven and this is the Storytime channel. Without wasting any time, I want to get right into the stories of the day because this first story is a very scary experience. Written by Watcheritd, not store security but I'll help out. I work for an unarmed security company, complete with uniform and badge. We aren't allowed to have weapons but can defend ourselves or detain people for the police. I'm not one for confrontation, but I am a large, scary-looking guy. I'm over 6 feet, and I look like a former linebacker. Usually, if I stop at the store after work, I take off my uniform shirt, but that day was chilly and my undershirt is pretty thin, so I wore it into the store. I wasn't planning on buying anything, just checking prices for a birthday gift for my wife, so I didn't have a cart or a basket. I notice a young woman, early 20s or younger I would guess, I never asked, come into my aisle. She looks scared and is looking around, kinda panicked. She sees me and makes a beeline for me. She says, "Hey, can you walk me to my car? Some creepy guy is following me." Now, this isn't the first time I've gotten this request and I absolutely never say no if a woman comes to me with a request like this. So I say yes and we start heading to the front of the store. Halfway there, this guy pops out in front of us and starts talking to her, saying that she forgot to give him her number. I step between them and tell them that she does not appreciate him following her and that he will be removed from the store if he persists. Obviously, I don't work there, but he doesn't know that. He responds that she is his girlfriend and that they are just having a little fight. She is shaking her head with every word he speaks. I tell him it's time for him to leave and he flips out and starts screaming at me. It takes all of 10 seconds for a bunch of people to notice, including one employee who pulls out a radio and starts talking to someone. As this guy yells at me, I keep myself firmly between him and the woman and repeat that he needs to leave in a calm voice. I figured that a manager would be by soon enough, so I wasn't overly worried. And sure enough, a manager and some of the actual store security, they have store logos on polos and look nothing like my uniform. They ended up restraining him as he kept alternating between screaming and cursing at me and the employees, and begging the young woman to just tell them he is her boyfriend. I overheard while she was talking to store security that she had never met the guy before. I explained that I was just shopping and didn't work there as I walked her to her car, and we had a good laugh over that misunderstanding. She was very grateful that I helped regardless. Now, I don't know about you guys, but this absolutely scares me. The fact that women have to live with this reality is terrifying. And of course, if I was in the security guard's position, I would have done the exact same thing because I'm not messing around in a situation like that. Plus, he claims that he's her boyfriend, but literally 30 seconds prior, he says that she forgot to give him her number. Knowing this, if you were this big brawly 6-foot linebacker of a security guard, what would you have done to this guy? Would you have resorted to something a little bit more physical? Would you have remained calm like OP did? Would you call the police? Let me know what you think your instincts would have led you to have done in the comments below. Our next story is by Captain Crunch, 1989. Karen tries to get me arrested at my own job interview. This Karen witched me out about an hour ago. Apparently, being white and well-dressed automatically makes me the manager. I did happen to be filling out a job application for security management, but this threw me for a loop. She got angry with me when I told her I didn't work there yet. She gets belligerent and demands the corporate number, which I give her because it's on my job application. Then she launches the spiel about how I need to be a better employee, and I'm just sitting there thinking, I told you, I don't work here yet, the freak? She starts making threats against my life, safety, tells me that she's going to slash my tires. I took the bus here, etc. If that wasn't bad enough, she goes to hit me. I back up and she misses, causing her to swing more. I have never hit a woman. Never restrained, never made any attempt to get aggressively or defensively with a woman. So after the 5th time she hits me, I grab her wrist and shout, "Enough!" She gets startled and tries to get away. I let her go and think nothing of it. 2 minutes later, the manager comes through and asks if I'm okay, stating he was watching the cameras. Cops show up, ask me if I want to press charges. You're darn right I do. So, long story short, I've either nailed my interview for security manager or I messed it up. I'll know in about 30 minutes. So I read through Captain Crunch 1989's comments, and it turns out management decided they're overqualified for the position. So congratulations to them on the new job. That being said, the other top comment on this post was that this was the interview. I think it's such a beautiful conspiracy. No one would have ever expected a planted Karen in a security manager interview. Our next story is via-brooke. Sorry for the bad joke. I don't work here, that's my sister. Background. So I have a sister. She is 2 years younger, but we look very similar. It's moderately easy to tell us apart though, if you know us well and spend time with us. She works part-time in Walmart and is 21. I am 23 and work as an assistant manager for a restaurant in town. So I was in Walmart getting a couple of things my sister wanted. She was sick, and due to us being fairly close, I was helping her out and planned on making her dinner. I was just looking for the chocolate she likes when one of the employees came up to me. His name is Tom, and I knew him fairly well as I came there every so often. He was friends with my sister, so she introduced us. We had a chat for a while, and he asked how Katie, my sister, was. After that, he went and continued working, and I kept shopping. I had just decided to put something back when I heard a, "Hey you," and I looked up to see an old man looking at me. "Yes?" I asked. The man just looked annoyed and snapped, "Come here." I was just about to tell him to freak off, demanding me to do something like that, when I saw an old lady stood slightly behind him. She told them to not be so rude and apologized to me. The lady was smiling as she asked if I could reach the ketchup for her. I decided because she had asked nicely, I would help her out, so I came over and got her a bottle. When I handed it to her, she asked if there was a bigger bottle. I told her that there wasn't and I was sorry. As I turned around to leave, the old man goes, "Well then go out to the back and get her a bigger bottle, you idiot. Don't just walk away." It clicked then that the guy thought I worked at the Walmart. Sorry, I can't do that as I don't work here. If you really need that bigger bottle, then ask one of the employees. I answered, slightly amused by him. The lady looked like she was going to say something when the old man cut in. "Don't be stupid, you do work here. I see you here all the time, you're just being lazy." "Sir, you must have mistaken me for my sister. She's the one that works here, not me. I really can't help you." "Liar, you're a liar. My wife wants ketchup. Get her the ketchup. I saw you talking to that boy. You're always talking to that boy. You do work here, you're just being lazy." At this point, he is shouting and his poor wife, who has done nothing wrong, looks like she wants to hide. "Sir, for the last time, I don't work here and I am going to politely ask you to freak off." Finally, someone comes, but it turns out to be Tom. Tom says, "Is something wrong, sir?" "This lazy piece of shit is refusing to get my wife some ketchup and is denying working here." Right now, the old jerk is looking pretty smug, like I'm going to be in serious trouble. Tom says, "Sir, she doesn't work here. You must have mistaken her for her sister Katie. I can get the ketchup for you though." "Liar, she does work here, you're lying. I saw you two laughing and talking. You're just covering for her because you're both lazy liars. I'm telling your manager." Then he just huffs off, leaving his wife to apologize. A couple minutes later, he comes back with the manager and is going on about how I'm so lazy and rude and refusing to help a customer and blah blah blah. The manager is just looking at him and nodding along with a smile on his face until old man has finished his rant. Manager says, "I can see how this would be a problem if she were an employee, but sir, she doesn't work here. Tom, please get the man some ketchup, then take them to the checkout." Finally, he turned to me and apologized for the trouble and asks how my sister is. When I get home, I make food and tell my sister, who finds the whole thing hilarious. She said she had encountered him before. "Listen, old man, not everything needs to be a conspiracy. Sorry to break this to you, but people with similar genetics may look like each other, and siblings might be friends with the same people. Shocking, I know." Our next story is by Southpaw Daggy. "I used to work here, but not anymore." So this is a story from 2014 when I was a leasing agent working in an apartment complex. First, some backstory. I happened to work where I lived, and while this may sound convenient, and I guess it wasn't when the neighbors realized who I was. It was common for neighbors, one in particular, to knock on my door and demand I fix something or that I take care of something for them, anywhere from fixing their AC to lowering their rent. I'd explain that I'm just a leasing agent, I can't fix shoot, and have no authority whatsoever. And while I have endless stories of people's stupidity, I was rarely able to do anything other than smile and nod and kiss their feet. Eventually, it came to pass that I stopped working there and just became a regular resident of that godforsaken place. Which meant I no longer had to be nice. I gotta be honest, I was excited, freaking elated at the prospect of my dipshoot neighbor knocking on my door late in the evening. I could not wait to tell her to go freak herself. Sure enough, one day, about a month or so after I was done working there, I get an aggressive knock on the door and I was actually giddy, but also angry at the same time. I had 2 years worth of leasing agent aggression to get out. Anyway, here's how it went.
Excuse me, I put in a work order for my fridge a month ago. It's making a noise and you need to fix it right now because I can't sleep with that terrible noise.
Me, joyous at the prospect of setting herself up so perfectly. Is that so? Well, again, I cannot fix it. You'll have to call the office tomorrow. In the meantime, how can you hear the fridge over your own bullshit?
Excuse me? I'll have you fired for speaking to me like that. How dare you? Blah blah blah.
Good luck, a-hole. I don't work there anymore. And for the 1000th time, when I'm not at the office, I can't do jack shoot to help you because I'm just a goddarn leasing agent who doesn't fix shoot, doesn't have the power to change your rent, and most importantly, doesn't give 2 shoots about your fridge being loud when you are the one being obnoxious, so shut the freak up and leave me alone. Dumb neighbor, red and flustered. She'd try to cut me off, but I just got louder.
Well, I'm definitely calling your boss and having you fired. I can't believe this.
She stormed off upstairs. She lived above me and I heard stomping around and slamming. Bear in mind, she'd been a total tick to me every time she came over. The others who bothered me at least were nice when I explained to them why I couldn't help. She was always loud, obnoxious, and an absolute tick when she'd come to bug me. So anyway, I get a call from my old boss the next day, which was wonderful, because at first she was like, "So I heard from dumb butt neighbor that you used some inappropriate language and were rude to her? That's, snicker, unacceptable." And she just busted out laughing. This neighbor was constantly causing ruckus, making complaints, being a tick to all the staff. And my old boss was just happy for me, saying, "God, I'm jealous. You have no idea how much I want to do that to people, but we just have to freaking smile and take it. What was it like?" So yeah, we had a laugh about it. That was a nice aftermath to that. And that lady moved out later that year. And I did the following year. I'm kind of imagining this story like an itch. Imagine there's an itch on your back and you can't scratch it for 2 years. You have to sit there and physically restrain your arm because you can't give in and scratch that itch because of your job. And then finally, when it's bubbling back up, it's the most itchy it's ever been. You can finally reach back and just get completely rid of it. That's the level of satisfaction I'm imagining this felt like. Our next story is by Baseless Earth 12. I don't work here, but I'm happy to help. Just read a post that reminded me of something that happened about a week or so ago. I was getting some tiling supplies at a place that rhymes with Dome Hippo, and had wandered into the power tools section to see what new tools I couldn't afford. While browsing the Ryobi section, I noticed a guy looking very indecisively between 3 drills. One of them just so happened to be the same impact driver that I had gotten my dad for his birthday last year. So I walked up to a safe distance and asked, "Hey, you looking for anything in particular or just browsing?"
I'm trying to decide which drill to get.
Well, if you're looking for something inexpensive, I'd take a look at Ryobi instead of the Rigid, because electronically they're nearly identical, same parent company.
Oh, well, I already have a few batteries and tools from Rigid.
In that case, I'd go with the 6-mode brushless impact driver. Yeah, it's a bit pricey, but you get what you pay for.
Can you use it like a regular drill?
As a matter of fact, you can. You can turn the impact function off altogether. Because of that, this one tool effectively replaces 2. I bought my dad one a while ago and it replaced the majority of his Makita drills.
Well then, I guess I'm sold. Now, can you help me find... Wait a minute. You don't actually work here, do you?
It was then he noticed the glorious majesty that was me in my stained camo shorts, bright orange Kool-Aid shirt, and 4x4 Crocs. Nope, I just know a thing or 12 about the drills and like to help out. An actual employee showed up shortly after and took over. I know it's a very small gesture, but these kinds of exchanges restore a little bit of my faith in humanity. And our final story of the day is by literalsunhin. I'm not wearing red. I'm actually surprised this actually happens in the real world. I'm at Target with my family shopping around the baby section when I turn around and nearly run into a lady that happened to be behind me. I mutter a quick, "Oop, my bad," and scurry away. Yeah, I actually scurried because I'm a bit awkward when it comes to inconveniencing strangers, so I wanted to get out as quickly as possible while taking up the least amount of space. Mind you, I'm wearing a black tank top and booty shorts. Definitely not red shirt and khakis. Well, this lady I bumped into asks me where some product is, and I just stare at her before saying, I'm sorry, I don't work here. And she says, "Oh, you don't work here?" before walking away. So she thought someone without the uniform that literally ran away from her was an employee? Nothing crazy or mind-blowingly exciting, just confusing. Alright everybody, this is your Target manager, and I'm giving you all a notification that we got a new uniform. We're all going to be wearing black tank tops and booty shorts, and I will not be hearing any complaints about it. Secondly, our bumping into people quota is at an all-time high. Thank you, literalsunhin. That being said, that'll be all. You all have a wonderful day. I'll see you at the next shift. But with all seriousness aside, that's all the stories we have for today. So if you had a personal favorite of the day, let me know which story and why in the comments down below. But besides that, if you enjoyed the video, please consider giving the video a like and subscribing and turning notifications on if you haven't. Both of those things support this channel greatly. So no matter what you did, whether it was just watching the video, liking, subscribing, or having notifications on, thank you all so much for supporting me right here on the Storytime channel. I hope you're all having a wonderful day, and I'll see you all next time.